Ay, go na. Go na tayo. Start na pala. Sorry. You are live na. Guys, sorry, I'm here. Okay, so this is Nikki, you also known as Faces Trader, and it's August 17, 2020. It's a Monday, and you are watching the Philippine market update. So let us discuss what happened in the Philippines. I'm gonna show to you my screen now. My screen shows to you that the Philippine index is slightly unchanged, down 8 points, 6,068. So we're still above 6,000. But you could see that there are more greens, there are more reds than greens. Also, maybe Ayala REIT investors are happy today because it's up 7%. It has rebounded back to 25.95, still lower than the IPO price of 27. But it just goes to show to you that there remains people who are in the belief that a 4 to 6% dividend yield is something that they are willing to buy. And we were saying that should it drop near 23 to 20, we were arguing actually in my last podcast that maybe ARIT is a buy. If you are an investor who wants something in the yield above 6 to 8%. Of course, the lower it is, the better yield you have. And let us take a look on your index names. So let's click the index. Of course, this is WealthSec Premier. If you don't have your online account brokerage firm for the Philippines, do consider WealthSec. That is www.wealthsec.com. So right now we are seeing AGI is up 6%. Good enough. We have been promoting AGI is a potential low risk, high reward play in the value segment because of the strength of Emperador and the liquor segment, the restructuring of the index. We are seeing market value traded is 3.7 billion. So we don't have a lot of value traded today. Decliners are 104, advancers are 73. Foreign net selling continues at 488 million. The loser is actually Emperador, down 6% after what was a move from about 9 to 11. So this is still above your 9 pesos since that restructuring. Jollibee is down 2%, SM is down 2%. Your GT cap is up 5.74%. Your JG Summit is up 4.4%. And I remember, if you could recall, we were arguing that JGS is actually one of those conglomerates that can be at par with Ayala Corp and SM in terms of the strength of its balance sheet, and the ability to borrow money has been, of course, proven given that JGS successfully did borrow, I think it was $600 million in the bond offering. So most of the largest tycoons of the Philippines have actually managed to take advantage of cheap money globally. So take a look. PSEI fell down but recovered. All shares fell down and recovered. Financials fell, not recovered as much, but still up at the close. Holdings, you've got properties slightly going up. So all of the charts in the index of the Philippines shows a drop. So you've got mining drop, services, properties is at least stronger today. So let's take a look in your statistics. So your top gainers for the day with value trades are actually Ayala REIT, 8,000 trades or 368 million pesos. From a previous 24.1, you've got 25.95. Do notice that Ayala REIT is not to be treated as a stock. I should explain to everyone that this is just a rental play. And so your dividends will be limited. It's just capped based on this year's rental expected income. So if you think that next year's rental income is going to get better, that's the only time that Ayala REIT could potentially rise. So it's really about the industry outlook again for office spaces. And of course, Ayala REIT is a play on that rental dividends. Okay, so we are seeing, of course, that ACR continued higher, 7% up. I took a look at the news. I'll explain this later for you. 91 million value traded. AGI is up 6%, 90 million pesos value traded, 625 close. You've got your Dito Telecom from 310 to 324. You've got GGS from 61 to 64. You've got FGN 2260 to 2350. Those are your big value tradeds. And then, of course, temporarily, some bargain hunting on Semirara despite the big downtrend from 904 to 922, slightly 2% up. Okay, that would be your then of course this one very little, even if it's up, no, small trades eh. So very little value traded. So I try not to discuss the little value traded. You could see that today's greens are Arit, Semirara, Dito, JG Summit, GT Cap, First Gen. So your pure gold is back below 50 bucks. It's now trading at 49.65. Your SM is below 900. Your PLDT is having a hard time because of course tomorrow is August 18. I think tomorrow is the X date. So that is one of the reasons why PLDT is slightly pulling back. Unchanged 13. URC, URC also just unchanged, 142.8. AGI big up. SM Prime there. Nicolasia 325 to 322. You should understand that there will be a 22 cents dividend, and so the X date would be crucial for these Nicolasia. Should it drop 22 cents the next day, that is because of that dividend. So okay, let's go to the charts. Let's go to your index. Okay, tapos na yan, broker index. So the thing about ACR, the reason why it was going up was because, wait, how do I close this? Okay. So ACR reported great numbers. Actually, like they reported earnings of 1 billion. Net income went up. But the thing about ACR's income is that they are not, I'm not sure how sustainable it is kasi it's always been cyclical. I'm gonna show to you the news about ACR first. So this one, no? Their income surged 375% with Mindanao plants in full operation. So they're cautiously optimistic on their performance this year. So technically speaking, I'm not too convinced when a profit earnings goes 400% or 375%. Not because I don't like the news, but because it's hard to replicate. You don't know whether it can be. So let's read it first for you, so that you understand. Alsons. So let's read it together. The power group's exceptional turnout despite pandemic. ACR flourished with earnings jumping to 1.39 billion, moderate profitability of about so 1.39 billion. This is their best performance. The company's net earnings hovered at 330 million within 6 months stretch against last year's 24 million. So that is from 24 million to 340 million. And the swing is attributed mainly to revenues climbing to 5 billion in the first half for Alcantara from 3 billion last year. Second quarter alone, revenue surged to 3 billion from 1.87 billion. Their CFO is saying that for the rest of the year, we remain cautiously optimistic on the financial performance of the company. He added that we are expecting higher revenues and profit margin from the full commercial operation of the Sarangani energy plant. So we hope to receive benefits of lower operating costs as we continue to maintain cost efficiency measures. So if you could see that, sure, great earnings, right? And then the market cap is 8 billion. If you notice, so that's just if they can make their sales and income grow like this for the next few years, it's definitely gonna get re-rated. So I'm not quite sure how strongly we can re-rate Alsons, but the earnings was the reason why there are a lot of volume players right now. You could see that there's value traded from what used to be a non-volume, no? So okay, so we are seeing some value players trading this at 1.2 and some even adding at 137. You could see that their cost is somewhere from 120 to 140. So their average cost would be somewhere at 130. How high can this go given that earnings front? You could look at the weekly to see that this Sarangani might need more reason, no? So you need more earnings to continue higher. They are cautiously optimistic in their second half, no? So for the rest of the year. So I took a look at this is a power play. So it's power play. They've got coal power. They've got renewable. So for those who aren't aware, who is Alson's Consolidated Resources? Go to their website first. So this is Alson's Consolidated Resources, Real Estate, Energy, Power, acr.com.ph. The thing about it nga, the problem is it's a bit cyclical eh. So sometimes it makes a lot of money, then suddenly you don't know anymore. But if they can continue, that should be good. So you could check it, maybe take more due diligence, see if they have a really strong way to surge their profits all throughout. Now, let's look at the news here. Annie profit is surging 400%. Now, how did that happen? This company by Antonio Tiu said that they made a 400% surge in income due to the second quarter alone in the first half because their net income rose from 25 million to 325. They supply homegrown fruits like mango, banana, pineapple, and coconut products to global institutional players and supermarket chains. They also are marketing bigas mais blend to minimize the country's overdependence on imported rice. So meanwhile, their other income increased just because of the increase in brand valuation for Big Chill. So they're planning to also launch their plant-based ice cream line and potential listing in a foreign exchange. It will also try to start their own new brand name, Fit Bites. So this is a company that has goals to list abroad. And then that's why I would say that they're trying to impress their investors. Maybe they're trying to say that they have a great number, great sales, fresh foods, vegetable sales, improve the mix to be sold online because of course the pandemic, everyone has to do online innovation. uh it's quite hard to say, no, but I generally have a problem with big surges because I don't know how sustainable it is. I don't know if next quarter what's the income again, no. But it's hard to predict basically. So but what we know is that okay, so 8 pesos now, you have 7 pesos here. You've got how what's your resistance for Ani? 10 years. So this went from 1 peso to 18 peso, drops to about 6 pesos. So now it's 8 peso. These are a bit speculative names, but we are reading them because of the earnings that they are reporting. So let's see what happens here. You've got a strong resistance at about 977. You have quite some support at 7. So your risk reward is somewhere to the scale of lose 1, win 2 pesos. You might even win as high as 11 to 12. So I'm not so sure what's gonna happen, but maybe put it in your watch list. Agri Nurture, and the other is ACR. So ACR looks to have more value traded, but how many people are stuck with their ACR? It's easy to see this from a trading perspective. You could see that there's a lot of resistance here at 160 and a lot more sellers here at 1.47. So you just need to really see that if ACR can continually trade above 1.2, then you've got a trading range here. So you've got strong support, meaning if you want to buy it near 120 or 125 or 135. But do note that there will be some selling 147 to 161. So it looks like a trading range for me. I'm not quite sure whether it will trend all the way up to $2, but for now, let's put it on the watch list. So I think like also for today's charts, let's discuss the chart of your so AGI. Sige, let's discuss AGI and GG Summit as well. Let's go to the charts. Okay, so AGI is up. So we were arguing that AGI was bottoming out at 550 and $6, and so we are seeing another buy signal coming. So we're just holding. Let's see whether we hold it until 7 to 750. So good work, everyone who followed AGI. Congratulations. Let's take a look at. Okay, so the financials today didn't move yet. It's still there, but it's not yet down. It's just consolidating here at above 85. Now it's 1991. So just a hold, wait it out. You've got your Metro Bank also pacing here at 35.50. So just hold it first. BPI is also just consolidating here at 65. So 64, just hold there. You've got your REIT, which is your dividend up today. But take note, these are not considered stocks. These are more like instruments, maybe an alternative asset to bonds, no? So a REIT is just a dividend play in a way, but of course it is gonna be about the industry outlook as well of the real estate. So as you could see, real estate as a whole, your property segment haven't been reporting great numbers, but it is continually priced in as well. So there are people who have been trading the ranges for your property. You could see a property support at 27 and a resistance at 3132. How can you see that? Let's take a look at your Ayala land. Your Ayala land is getting supported at 30 bucks, but also getting sold at about 35 to 36 or even at 38. So it is a range play for your properties, your Ayala, your SM Prime, your Robinson's land, your what's that? Your Mega World. So it's really just in a neutral state. It's not bullish, it's not bearish. We don't know what would happen to the property segment, and we'll wait until the markets tell us whether we should. Press releases. Let's try to read just this press release on CNPF. Century Pacific Food is one of the country's leading food companies. We have signed a long-term contract as the OEM for the Linaco Group. This is a leading regional coconut producer headquartered in Malaysia. Linaco's high-value coconut products are available in 40 countries across Europe, Middle East, China, Hong Kong, and Australia. So for those who aren't aware, an OEM means that they are the manufacturer and Linaco is going to sell it for the other 40 countries. Now, this partnership started in 2018. CNPF signed on as the OEM of Linaco's leading coconut milk brands. After more than 2 years of working together, companies agreed to increase volume commitments, expand the range of products that Century Tuna, CNPF, Century Pacific will produce to serve Linaco's growing requirements. This multi-year contract is valued at more than $50 million, strengthening CNPF's position as a leading and fast-growing player in the Philippine coconut industry. Now, this is good. Actually, it's a testament that Century Pacific is able to go abroad and sell through an OEM through these partnerships. Today, CNPF is already one of the largest suppliers of Vita Coco globally. The company is currently augmenting the coconut manufacturing capacity, spending another investment of 300 million, addressing the growing demand for high-value coconut products internationally. This comes at a time when everyone is healthy, conscious consumers amidst the ongoing COVID pandemic. So in line with this pivot to a healthy life, CNPF is entering the coconut business through high-value coconut products for OEM exports. This category started with Vita Coco and is now expanding to more. We are seeing they are diversifying into desiccated coconut, virgin coconut oil, coconut flour, coconut milk, and even Coco Mama Fresh Gata. This is a fresh coconut milk sold in convenient package formats made for the Philippine domestic market. The sales have grown significantly during the ongoing health crisis, and the company is installing additional lines to double the production capacity for Coco Mama. The Vice President and General Manager of CNPF is saying that we are honored and thrilled to sign this new agreement with Linaco. This new agreement is going to help the suppliers as well as the coconut farmers with Mindanao. We're given assurance of the market access for the products for the next few years. Crespo is saying that our growing presence in the coconut market, both as an OEM export and domestic brand player, is in line with our vision long-term to build a healthy and more diversified suite of shelf-stable food and beverage products. So guys, I do see that CNPF is a well-managed company, and actually CNPF is probably one of the best, second to URC, when it comes to the food manufacturers of this country. So actually, our three topics is kind of familiar to all of you. Annie is doing agriculture, which is fruits, right? And then vegetables. And then Alson is Mindanao Power Play. And then both Mindanao is, of course, the fruit basket of the Philippines. So it's in a way, CNPF naman will produce and manufacture. So they're all, in a way, they're working hand in hand. We wish to help our fellow Filipinos see a beautiful company. So maybe you might want to check out Century Pacific Foods on dips. Take note that Century Pacific Foods has barely volume, no? So there is no volume. The problem here is that when you enter, you can't exit. You really have to kind of like be a stock investor because you can't. There's no volume. You see, no volume. But what's happening is good. You could see that CNPF is one of those companies that really, when it fell, it was one of those buys that truly went 50-60% up from that March low and continues to be a higher low. So with great things to come for Century Pacific, I'd assume that any drops at 14 to 15 would have some buyers. So at least you are aware that should this drop at 15 below, there might be a buyer somewhere out there who will love to buy a company that is growing and doubling its production capacity to be a long-term player in the coconut segment. Okay. Of course, that is a little bit difficult, of course, because this is another coconut play in the Philippines, right? So Axilum. Sorry, guys, I haven't studied this company, but it reminds me that if they are competing against each other, how big is the industry pie? And maybe wait for the earnings call of Axilum, which is, they have reported already net income 82 million, negative 50%, no? So in a way, this is all a play on the coconuts of the Philippines. That's it. Let me now see if there are questions, comments. Guys, will the mark, okay, let me read each comment. So Sir George is asking, will the market move on the down bias or upward bias this week? I think that in the Philippines, to be honest, we are trading so far in a range. So also with regard to Metro Bank and BPI, what is a good price entry for long-term investment? For financials, we are seeing that Metro Bank, BPI, and BDO seems to be almost in the same category when it comes to the charts. But it looks like BPI has lesser resistances rather than your Metro Bank. How can we say that? Let's compare these two stocks. So you could see the man from the charts that BPI has managed to travel from about 48 to 80, so larger range, no? That is at least 100% range versus your Metro Bank, which went from somewhere like 34 only to 44, 43. So from a range perspective, BPI is stronger than Metro Bank. And BDO is also in a very tight range from about 76 to 115. So you might want to choose between the two, whether BPI or Metro Bank. Maybe the other could have a bigger risk reward for you. Now, will SEC move up for you or will it go down? My problem with Semirara is really about the ability to really negate the downtrend. Even if today it's up 2%, I don't think that we are past out of the woods. So I might be just avoid it for myself. I am not sure. It could go up, but I wouldn't. So I am not quite a big bargain hunter. But this is you are seeing some people bargain hunting 850 to 9. Maybe they would bounce sell it at 10 or 11. But you've got a lot of selling pressure. So I am not quite. I'm not good in trading downtrends. So I might not. I might avoid it. Hi, Nikki, do you have stocks in PSE? Were you able to cut loss before March 20 and how? Actually, my Philippine exposure, I have some Philippine exposures that are down like significantly, and I never really bothered anymore. So I didn't add on my Philippines. When I have cash, I would just globally invest it because I could make more than a lot abroad than in the Philippines. However, like for instance, if I have property stocks in the Philippines or financial, so I'll give you an understanding what I hold in the Philippines. I do own some properties and financial stocks in the Philippines, which I feel are too low. So I don't want to sell it now. I don't need the money now either. So I just let it be. So for trading, and for investing, I just think that there are 100% to 500% returns made abroad, which I've done there. So whenever I have cash, I don't do it here in the Philippines. I deploy and I add globally. I add it onto my account abroad. So I do have some positions in the Philippines. For clarity and transparency, 20% of my portfolio is in the Philippines and then 80% is abroad. Over time, I've gotten to really add more on global. Yes, AC Energy made profits, continues to make profits. continue to hold it. Yeah, so it's still one of those winners, renewables. I am actually bullish on renewables. So that is one of those names that I'll be able to hold. AGI. So actually, one of the things that I have been doing too in the Philippines is that if I have lost, let's say I have some properties that I think would take a longer time to materialize, I would put those that cash to companies that I think might be a good switch. Even but so basically my Philippine portfolio, I just try to shift it in that Philippine portfolio. I don't add money in it. So that's how I do it. AGI is yeah, we just hold AGI for now. What if Trump loses the elections? Will nickel and renewable energy benefit? So actually, I don't invest based on who wins, but I do want Biden and Harris to win. And so I like the fact that I know that they are the most of the US, like especially in California, the state of California is very much supportive. Actually, US is very supportive of all the solar energy. And even without subsidies, solar is already the cheapest form of electricity. So I don't think that you need the politics or regulation to really help. But I always say this in class, like it's good that the government is helping, but most importantly, the financials make sense for people to actually have their home solar. So, of course, I see that there's strong demand in the electric vehicle industry. And of course, for electricity, the cheapest way to get electricity is through solar. So, residential panels, solar panels, we have been investing in a couple of names abroad for that. For trading, is the mining and services still the play? Actually, I don't play for a week. I try not to invest within days or weeks. I try to really invest on a long-term time frame, and that is really what has helped me a lot to make more money actually. And if you look about it, if you look at it, from a mining perspective, Nicolasia, the reason why you want to understand this is because you have to understand that lithium ion is really the largest component with battery storage. So if you are bullish that there will be millions of vehicles in the electric vehicle industry that would need a battery storage, then you'd understand that within the next 10 years, the nickel producers would have to be, there might be a shortage, or even if there's no shortage, just the demand per se would increase. And so there is ample room for sales revenues over the long run to be positive for them. So so that's me. I don't care about what you think. Now, SEC is mining coal, which is a dying industry. Agree. That's why I wouldn't want to be in it. In general, that is also something that I'm afraid of for ACR. ACR is a coal-fired power plant in Mindanao. So I am quite not bullish when it comes to coal-related industries. That is just me. Yun, you can see yourself on screen. Yeah, this is this is my driver's daughter, our driver's daughter. So yon, she's here in the video. There's news about Buffett buying gold mining stocks. Well, honestly, to me, the thing about gold is that it is probably a cyclical play. When I say cyclical, it's just cycles can last, like a gold can last maybe another 1 year to 2 years of uptrend. And so he might be, but you know naman, Buffett isn't a buyer for the next day or tomorrow. Like, he doesn't buy today and then sell it tomorrow. So he did his due diligence. He wanted to buy a company and expose himself. And the reality is, you have to understand that Buffett's portfolio is not really much about gold. Like, you have to take a look at it on a portfolio basis. Buffett's 35% in Apple. So basically, he's in big tech. We What's the question? Just bought GT Cap. So I think GT Cap is just a value play on Metro Bank. And maybe the resumption of the economy would help GT Cap in the first place. So the DMC announced their nickel mining experts are up 25%. Can they be included to your other nickel mining plays? What we want to see is, to be honest, DMC is gonna be a diversified play. So DMC is, of course, they do construction, infrastructure. So it's not just a sector in who owns Semirara, although right now 50% of their net income contribution is on coal. So if nickel will grow as big as their their coal powered energy business, then it might be useful to check it out. But really, think of it as a portfolio basis. That's why it doesn't make sense to say that. So think about it from a portfolio perspective, no. If you own 1% of your entire portfolio in gold mining, and then 35% in big technology, where are you most bullish really in? Diba? Think about it from a Buffett perspective. Now, is there a risk of a stock market bubble? To be honest, for the last 5 years, 7 years, everyone will always discuss the market is in a bubble, the market is in a bubble. I just wanted you to know that Ray Dalio is not the best investor in the world. He has the largest assets, but if you've been reading or even trying to understand performance year to date, Ray Dalio is really a suck. He's bad. He's not a good. He's not a good. I don't know. Let's think about your mentors too. I'd say that for the next 10 years, decades, no, we're gonna discuss decades. It's a question really of are people truly going online? Are people doing better in their online digital transformation? Has video games truly expanded further and further? Ask yourself about a lot of industries, and actually, I'll share to you a few things. No, so in my Faces Trader, here, take a look at this. I do not need to sound arrogant. When I say that it's not hard to make money in the markets, it's always been because we or I have been bullish in several secular trends. And when you diversify towards these opportunities, leaders growing profoundly, then the gains are just a matter of time whether the leadership teams can execute. It's just time and diversification. I'm patient and I'm a smiling optimist, actively tracking but passively holding companies focus on their niche, whether it be gaming, education, SaaS, clean energy, streaming platforms, et al. These companies have definitive strengths. Being a shareholder to these companies with massive scale and rooting for them to win further are really worthy and compelling to own. So my core competency really is, and what gives me joy every day is find out who these leaders are, the companies that continue to grow, their innovations, and making money with the greatest companies of all time the next big things are really what propel me to really invest globally. It's not about me not making money in the Philippines. It's because making 100%, 300% abroad is quite achievable, and it's really why would you invest in a greatest company in the Philippines when you can invest in the greatest company of the world? We're talking about greatest company of the world. So I don't care if it's listed in India or in Brazil or in Poland. Like, you can 100x your money in CD Project if you've invested in it 7 years ago. CD Project rally went from 3 to 420. So, there's a lot of money to be made in the world. And I think that it's just really about diversification. And I told you this in one of my, in my Twitter, which you could, of course, just follow me. I'm here naman every day. I don't really, no, I don't get bothered. I shared here that I try not to be perfect, really. So of course this one I have this Agora, no. So Agora is a platform helping all the companies like Unity game engines. If you're a gamer, you know that Unity Engine, Unreal Engine, Epic Games, all these names. So really, for me, it's about more samplers of an actual awesome 10x portfolio. Grow generation, hydroponics, sports betting, GAN, CrowdStrike, cybersecurity. How's subscription resilience going on? OTT video streaming is the most resilient. They've been growing 140, 50% in these past few times. No, data shows streaming grew 400% during second quarter of 2020. I will go to my global market update and discuss this to you. But I will end the Philippines really with telling you that perfection is really not the important thing in the market. It's about being comfortable with being imperfect. So I tell people that if you want to be perfect in everything, you risk yourself and you hurt yourself for the returns. A lot of people said 2019, oh, the market is high. It will crash. But I found Pintuotuo, $19, $95, 500% up. You know, July 2020, people were saying, Nikki, market is high. Look, I've been investing January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. I mean, you know, even October, November, December, I will still own some companies. It really depends on what you know, the numbers. Is IBAKR charging while naka-hold ang stocks? None. I can hold it for like a year, 2 years. As long as you buy something. When you say na it's not, the dormancy fee only applies if you opened an account and you put, let's say, $1,000 and you never bought any single share. Like, let's say you bought you put $1,000 in your IBKR and you never invested even $100. You never put $100 on Facebook, which is fractional shares anyway. Or let's say you put $100 in Spotify. Ganun. I am more really, you know, I actually shared this na maybe the difference that I truly can make money is I try not to think about days. I really try to think about decades. And I know that one day the market will fall. And so the question is not to be perfect. It's the question whether you are prepared. Because I'm prepared. Like actually, I'm one of the happiest people if the market fell 20% today or tomorrow. I'm not really scared. So the question is preparation, not prediction. If you have your asset allocation, this is for my stocks, this is for my cash, and this is for my own needs, and this is for my business or property or whatever, then that's it. Then you just invest in tranches, build your position slowly. That's really how to go. So there, thank you very much. And I do thank you for listening to me and do invest globally. Global is how you want to invest. Philippines is great, but also in the Philippines, I think about global trends as well. So which companies can be a global giant and which companies have the capacity to not just be a leader in the Philippines, but globally. So yon. Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.